Hello again, everyone. This is Dr. Mike, and again, we're back here for our Medical Exercise Training 101 ebook video series. And this is one that I know a lot of you have run into. We're going to talk about this a little bit. And we ask you to please become part of our MedX Pro network, because I think this is one that we'll get a lot of discussion in the network about. And in that network, you're going to have other medical exercise specialists and post-rehab conditioning specialists and medical exercise program directors that have gone through similar training through the Medical Exercise Training Institute. And I think this might be a topic that would be one that would lend itself to having a number of individuals chiming in and sharing their experiences and sharing what they feel are best practices. But if you would, let me share with you what our recommendations are. So this is item number 15. My client develops significant pain after our session. Should I refer the client to the physical therapist or to the physician? Now, I know all of you run into this. You work with a client, a day or so after the session, they're having significant pain. Should I send them back to their doctor? Should I send them to their therapist? So let's talk about that a little bit. Well, if your client develops pain during or after the session and they've consulted you about this, probably the best professional to contact is the referral source. So if the referral came from the physician. If it came from the therapist. Provide the referral source with the details about the exercise session, as clients are not the best historians. Don't let the client tell the story. You want to tell the story from a professional standpoint. Be clear and concise. They are generally not as accurate as their descriptions of the exercise and their symptoms as you will be. So make sure you have that conversation with that physician, therapist, or chiropractor. And don't look at it as you've done something wrong. Look at it as, hey, the client is here receiving this service. There are going to be some times where we will exacerbate a client situation, just like a client in the hospital that physician orders a certain test, but they send the client down, or the patient down, for the test, and the patient doesn't do very well in getting set up in the procedures leading up to the test. It happens sometimes. So if you would, let me continue on with this one. If you refer a client back, make sure the client contacts the referral source and outline the information they should give their doctor, therapist, or chiropractor. An example of a phone conversation is, your patient, Mr. Smith, has experienced low back pain and he's participated in level 1 spinal stabilization exercise today. Would you like for him to come in and see you, or would you like me to make sure simple modifications to his exercise program are made? If you communicate with the medical professional via letter, make sure when the client has the follow-up visit, you provide a letter outlining the client's current situation. Instruct the client to give this letter only to the physician, not to the nurse, not to the receptionist, only to the physician. Put it in his or her hand. This ensures the information gets directly to the physician and enhances your professionalism in the eyes of the physician. But more importantly, the physician gets the information at the critical moment when they're sitting down to see that individual patient. If you have a client that must discontinue exercise due to discomfort or pain, it is recommended you consult their physician, therapist, or chiropractor before the next session. This ensures a high standard of care, eliminates the possibility of exacerbating the position, and more importantly, it puts everybody on the same page. Now, folks, I know you run into this situation. As a physical therapist, I ran into this. Patient comes in for a physical therapy service. A couple of hours later, next day, 2 days, they're in excruciating pain. Hey, let me call the physician. Hey, Dr. Ford, here's what's going on with Mrs. Jones. I guess you got a call from her. She may have called you already. What we're going to do maybe is hold off on her next physical therapy session, or when she comes in, we're not going to do any of these specific exercises. What are your thoughts? So this now becomes a dialogue. Physicians, physical therapists, chiropractors know that clients with exercise put stress on the system. So they know they're going to have some exacerbations. What you want to do is get in front of it, be professional, talk to the medical professional, make sure they understand what's going on, and then make the required modifications. This isn't a big deal. If anything, it solidifies your level of professionalism and also now makes them look at you as a colleague in managing this client. I think the one thing that we don't want to do is call that medical professional in a panic and say, well, what do I do? Folks, you work with the client. You're the one providing the exercise services. In that situation, if I'm the physician, you're asking me what I would do, I'm just going to simply say, well, we're going to eliminate or terminate the exercise and go from there, because I have no control as the physician over what you're doing. Let's have a dialogue and come up with a solution so that we're all on the same sheet of music. So that would be what I would do for that one. So please, if you would, join us for our next one. And in our next segment, we're going to talk about at what point you should start working with a client after they've had surgery, because this is going to become more and more important. Client has an arthroscopic procedure or surgery. The doctor doesn't order any physical therapy. The client is sitting out there on their own. What do you do? All right. So please come back and join us for our next segment. If you did not, make sure you go over to www.met101ebook.com to download the ebook and take a look at our MedX Pro network if you want to be around like-minded medical exercise professionals. So we'll see you in our next segment.